hello, hello. Let me just get Instagram set up here, which is extremely quirky, but I think I've got it figured out. There we go. All right. So thanks for joining me. If this is your first time, these are chill, instruction-free coloring sessions. Sometimes I do explain what I'm doing, but that's not so much the point. The point is more for you and me to relax and just enjoy some time and space to do art. And I call them chill or meditative coloring sessions because they're really about no judgment, although sometimes we all fall into that. I've been doing pretty good lately, but if anyone was with me 4 or 5 weeks ago, I had a real moment of judgment of my own coloring live on camera, which was kind of wild, but we've moved on and it's natural. So if you find yourself judging your art or getting frustrated, it's okay. Don't beat yourself up for beating yourself up. Just turn the page and try again. So color whatever you want. You can color along with me if you like, but you don't have to. You can just color anything you like. Hi, Sherry in Ashford. Sherry got your books and you're enjoying them? I'm so glad. Me too. So these are, oops, sorry, I keep bonking the camera. These are the 3 new Bold and Easy books. And I've been coloring in the first one called Magic. Oops, I'm sorry. Keep bonking the camera there. That's super annoying. So I've done these 2 pages on my own, and it's been really fun. Their art's a little bit simpler, a little bit less on the page, a little bit thicker lines, so it just makes it a little bit easier to do, and more room for creativity, like more room to add your own details and stuff like that, which is really fun. So I'm going to be doing this page today, and I'm using alcohol markers, which I enjoy, but I don't necessarily recommend them. It depends what you're looking for. They bleed. Yes, they bleed. So this is the back side of the page. You have to put paper underneath. So you can see I have some thick paper here, a couple sheets of scrap paper that have soaked up a lot of bleed. And they're for single-sided books only, unless you want to toast your back side of the page. There's a bit of a learning curve with them. But that said, if you're okay, and they're a little bit expensive, and yes, your favorite colors will run out first, although you can get refills and replacements. But that said, that sounds fine. Some drawbacks and quirks, they are a lot of fun. So Ashford asks, oh yes, this book, Witch, has Grimoire Club pages that have not come out yet, but the first one should be going out pretty soon. I can't remember when, but I need to set that up. But yeah, so if you don't have the cash to buy these books, I do give you mini versions for free in Grimoire Club. So they're foldable. They look like this. They're little 1 sheets that you fold into mini books. And you can sign up for that at coloringbookofshadows.com/club. And so you can get this same art for free. It comes in time. So you get 1 per week for 6 weeks, and then they come every 2 months. So you do have to wait for them, but it's kind of exciting when they do show up. So I think it's definitely worth the wait, and they're free. If you don't want to wait, you can buy them now in the Bold and Easy Pocket Grimoire series, available in paperback and printable PDF. So yeah, Ashford, if you've been in Grimoire Club for a while, you will be getting the first one, the Kitchen Witchcraft, pretty soon. Yeah, you'll be getting that pretty soon. Oh, I have to check my schedule. So anyway, without further ado, I will make sure I have some scrap paper under here because it's a really common mistake for people to forget that, and then use alcohol markers, and then you end up toasting the page underneath. All right. Oh, and hi, Lorraine. I'm sorry, Lenore. L. Hello, L. Lenore. Thank you for getting the books for yourself and your daughter. I hope you guys enjoy them. So one of the cool things about alcohol markers is they're so smooth, like you can get them pretty much streak free. That's just what you see, the color showing through is just you won't see it once it dries. And anyway, it's just what's on the scrap paper beneath. It's not gonna bleed through. That's the other nice thing about alcohol markers is once they dry, they're dry. Like water-based markers bleed more easily and they're water soluble. But alcohol ones, once they dry, they don't bleed. They're like on there. They're like permanent. Yeah. So that's kind of a nice thing about them. Another nice thing about them is they dry very quickly, so you can use them on thin paper. Actual marker paper is recommended, but that's not what I'm using here. So like if you want to be super proper about it, I've heard they last longer too if you use actual marker paper. Actual marker paper is really nice, but I'm a little too lazy for that. I just prefer to do it right in the book. I used to really enjoy them about 6-7 years ago, but I kind of stopped using them because they are a little bit tricky and a little expensive. The prices have come down quite a bit, but they're still a little tricky, a little expensive, and I don't know. I didn't want to like push them because I felt they were sort of like not that accessible. But I really like using them, so that's why I'm back at it. Pencils are definitely more inexpensive. They last longer and they might be a little bit easier to use. But they're both fun. Everything has its fun and its drawbacks and all that. You know what I'm saying? So the markers on the page need a little bit of time to dry here. See how there's a line because I let one side dry and then tried to add on to it. It may or may not leave a seam, and then you can kind of blend that in a little bit. But if you want to go seam free, you really have to go quickly before it dries. So that's sort of another little quirk with them. Hi, Sentient Star Child. Sentient Star Child, do you love the books or you love the markers? I still really love pencils too. And it was a transition for me, even though I'd used them in the past, it was a big transition for me to get back into them. The learning curve, I had quite a learning curve getting back into them. Like my first time I was like, oh, why did I do this to myself? Like, why didn't I just stick with pencils? I'm so used to them. But I wanted to get back into markers and I did, and I'm glad I did now because I'm having a lot of fun with them. And I did get a little bit of a seam over there on the left, but we'll fix that. Or on the right. Left, right, whatever. So, in other news, hi, Kara's Pretties and Sentient Star Child loves both markers and the books. Thank you so much. Okay, I'll explain this and then I will continue on with my in other news. So see how I got a little seam there because I, excuse me, let it dry and then came back. I personally just like to layer it on. Like you can kind of melt it a little bit. You can kind of melt the seam. I'm going to add a little bit of shading to this, so it's not going to matter if one section has 2 layers and is a little bit darker. But you might want to just plan a little better than I did. Like don't put your seam somewhere so obvious. And then brush tip versus chisel tip. Brush tip I find to be a lot easier, but especially with blending because you can go real light. I'm getting used to the chisel tip too, because I purposefully made myself, I have some that are only chisel tip, and I made myself get into them last week. Okay, so in other news, I saw Wicked. Finally. I know, I'm late to the party. I had not seen the play. I did not see the movie when it was in theaters. And oh my goodness. I love it. Love it. My husband and I watched it. Took us 2 nights. It's a little long, so it took us 2 nights. But I was just floored, and then my rental ran out, so I bought it, and it's been on repeat as I work. Okay. So yeah. So talk to me about Wicked if you like. And I'm mad. I feel like I missed all the good merchandise in stores. Like I want a t-shirt, tank top. And I looked online and it all looked kind of crappy, but that's okay. Okay, so it's once it's wet too, it's like really easy to overdo it. I need to just wait for that to dry. And I think I probably blended it as good as it's going to blend in. Because once they dry, they do look lighter. So you can see at the bottom part here how smooth that is. That's because I did a really nice job coloring it quickly without any seams. But I'm going to add some shading, so you're not going to notice it when it's finished. Okay. So yeah, that's the tricky part. But don't drive yourself crazy trying to get things too smooth. I mean, you can if you want to, only if you like to be crazy. Laura read The Wicked book in 1995. Yeah, it became a cultural phenomenon. I would like to see the stage play. I don't know if it's playing. I live in a remote area, to say the least, so I don't know. It's not a lot of musical theater out here in Maui, but I would actually like to see the play. But I've watched the movie 3 times now. I have been skipping over the flying monkey part, though, I gotta tell you. I am pretty sensitive. And as powerful as that part is, it's a little much for me. So yeah, I've been skipping on my rewatches. I've been skipping that part. I skipped the pig scene in Spirited Away too. And then the Muppet movie. Have you guys seen that? I skipped the Mel Brooks Mad Scientist scene. I can't handle that. Too much. Sentient Star Child loved the stage production of Wicked, but has not seen the movie yet. I think you will like it. I don't know your tastes, obviously. But yeah, I think it's fabulous. Oh, what was I going to do? I was going to look up gradient letters really quick. not sure how much I want to do. I wanted to do a little bit of a gradient on the letters. Well, why don't I be brave? Didn't know how brave I wanted to be. But I'll add a little pink in just for fun. Yes, Sentient Star Child, it was quite fabulous. She said that the trailers looked fabulous for Wicked. If you like the stage play, I think you would like it. My friend, I have not seen the stage play, as I mentioned several times already, but my friend said that the music was very, I don't know how much the story is the same. I think they kept it pretty similar, but she said the music was like pretty much the same. Oh, trigger warning for eating disorders because they're very thin. Could be, for sure. I think that's why. Oh, in Julia, do you mean for Spirited Away or Wicked, or both? The pig scene in Spirited Away, yeah, mm-hmm. If that's what you meant. I didn't know if you meant that or Wicked. I know a lot of people say that they're really rail thin in that, which they are. But yeah, this scene, yeah, I gotta say, if you were talking about oh my goddess, my brain is not thinking and drawing at the same time. If you're talking about Spirited Away pig scene, woo. Oh, Wicked, yeah. Spirited Away pig scene, yeah, that one kind of, that's a very short scene, but it kind of freaks me out pretty bad, I gotta say. And Scary Monkeys. Yeah, the whole animal part, I know that's a whole part of the movie, but that was the heaviest part for me, for sure. I felt it's hard for me to watch, but I still liked it. I like the songs a lot. Okay. And then another nice thing about alcohol markers is you can just go over them like a bunch of times. A water-based marker, the paper would get torn up. But with alcohol markers, you can just go over it and over it and over it. And that's how I blend out, like if you have a line, that's how I blend it out, by just going over it a bunch. You can smooth that out. Colorless blender comes with it, and it's not really for blending. Sorta, but I only use it for really light colors, or to go from, like, if I was to go from this lightest color to white, I would use the colorless blender. But to try to blend dark colors, it doesn't work like that. Kind of splotches out for me. Yeah, Julia, I could see how that would be triggering, because they're very very thin. I hear that. All right. Well, that came out really nice. So the pink is not as pink, which is good. I didn't want it to be the color on, like, my seams. Yeah, the colorless blender could work on it. I can try it in a minute here. It would, but it seems like I could try it. Let me try it in a minute here. I wanted to do the background in red, But I'll find like another little area to try that out. It's a good question. It's a good question, and one we can solve by trying, or answer by trying. Make sure my paper is tucked all the way in there. I'm going to add shading over it. And adding shading sort of helps too, just because. Well, it covers your mistakes or the flaws. Not that you need to cover your flaws, but I like the look of imperfect. Personally, I like it when it's sort of like that. Like I don't need a perfect blend. I think pencils are easier to get a super perfect blend. You can just control it a lot better, like the pencil pressure. You can go really light and then darken it up. Whereas with markers, even a light touch just goes on pretty heavy. Okay. And I really do like these parchmenty backgrounds, but I wanted to do like a red, like add a lot of color. So I figured I'd split the difference by doing like this. I'm already at 20 minutes today, but I might go a little bit over just because I'm having a good time. Sometimes the colorless blender ruffles it up like a little too much, maybe. I'm still thinking about Laura's question, is if I could blend in the seam I had with it. I think you could, but sometimes it adds a little bit of like, it looks like it got wet, kind of like it messes with your smooth color a little bit. That's why I like it mostly to blend into white. But I'll have to give it a try here at some point. I can answer that question. Okay. This is looking very bold and magical. Okay, love it. And now for my next trick. I really love doing this part. And you can see how this would rough it up a little bit. So if you did have any seams or imperfections, you wouldn't notice it because you're adding all this beautiful texture. Yeah, the letters came out cool. I'm usually like so haphazard with my lettering, like I don't go for like an actual gradient or anything, but and then I had a moment of I'm not going to be able to pull that off, but it was fine. And for this kind of thing, it definitely helps to go all in the same direction. Okay. Getting there. Sorry, I keep flipping it over, but it helps. No, it's not as easy to watch, but for my left-handedness, it certainly helps. Okay. So that is looking pretty good. And then if you wanted to, this is the beauty of alcohol markers. You could get your red again and blend over it, smooth it out, smooth the transition a little bit. But that's entirely optional. But the nice thing about the markers, alcohol markers, is you can layer a lot and go over them multiple times. That's just the nature of them. And then if you want to smooth out some of that a little bit, make the gradient a little less harsh, you can just use this and keep blending it in. But I'm not going to do too much. I kind of like it rough and a little bit uneven. All right. Okay, so I probably won't go too much more, but a little bit. I'm going to show you what I have in mind for this center section, which is basically what I've done on the other pages in this book so far. Or maybe I will just keep going. And blow off the rest of my work for the day. I'm working on the 2026 planner. And I think it's going to be delightful. I've had some ups and downs with it, as I always do. When creating a new project, it's like, it's great, it's awful, it's great, it's awful. Like, I think that's just the creative process. There's always ups and downs. But until it really kind of comes together. But right now it's an up. I was looking at it today and I was like, wow, it's really coming together. I've been working on it for about 6 weeks, 5.5 weeks. I started March 3rd. And it usually takes me 3 or 4 months in total to complete a planner. And that's just the black and white version. And that doesn't include any of the editing or marketing or finishing or promotion or anything like that. So it's a pretty big project. Ashford asks if it's my 10th year doing the planner. Depends when you start counting. It is actually the 10th. I call it the 9th year because I don't really count the 2017 version, but I should. Wait, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Yeah, it's the 10th year. But if you're not counting the 2017 version, it's the 9th year. So I was going to call it the 9th. And then the 2026 7 version would be the 10th. But I don't know. Yeah, that's kind of wild. It's the 10th year. It doesn't feel like 10 years. Okay. Ooh. So see how that's looking? Pretty good. Okay. We'll just do an extra long session today because I'm having fun. Sentient Star Child points out it's very nice that they don't rip up the paper with multiple layers, because she says that's the biggest frustration with water-based markers is that they rip up the paper. Yeah, so that it really is the what makes alcohol markers awesome. Tricky but awesome. And fun. I would rather not fight my art supplies, you know, like if it's hard to get a super even blend, I would just assume not go for a super even blend or find a way to add texture or something to smooth that out a different way. I just don't like to be tortured by my art, although I often am. Speaking of Studio Ghibli movies, I don't know if you guys are fans too, but my friend and I have been watching the entire catalog, one per week on Sunday, and including the documentaries. I've seen The Kingdom of Dreams and Madness before, but I had not seen the making of The Boy and the Heron yet. And I saw that this weekend. Oh my goodness. I was in tears like the whole time. It was so gut-wrenching. Mostly because I don't want to spoiler alert it for you. Okay, I won't spoiler alert it. But the creative process, so it goes into some personal stuff, which I found to be sad, but life and death type stuff. But then it also, the creative process is, which is why I like to watch that kind of documentary, because I like to see other artists' creative struggles and stuff like that, and how they get through it. But at one point, someone says about Miyazaki, they say looks miserable, but he also seems to be having fun. They're like, it's kind of like both, you know, like, I don't know. And that's how it is. Okay, so these are, am I shooting myself in the foot here if I do this? Yes. Okay, don't do that yet. Do I want to do the star in gold? Yes. But I'm going to do this in brown. Yeah, extra long session today because I'm having fun. And now I'm like seeing the finish line of this, so I figure I might as well just finish. Lenore, this is my art and this is dangerous. Do you think I want to die like this? Yes, I say I don't want to be tortured by my art, but is that really the truth? Because I am, like most artists, I am tortured by my art frequently. So we say we don't like it, but is that really the truth? I don't know. Yeah, that scene in Beetlejuice is one of the best. Speaking of movies I haven't seen Beetlejuice. I heard not the greatest things about it, but I do want to watch it still. Again, late to the party. I've seen the original Beetlejuice probably, I can't tell you how many hundreds of times. I pretty much have it memorized. I'm a bit of a creature of habit, so I watch my favorite things over and over when I do art, when I do my work. At least some of my work I can do that. I can't do it with writing or anything like wordy, but I definitely can with art. So I've seen that movie like, I don't know how many hundreds of times. Okay, now I need to think with my brain. I'll do a little test here. So these are the Kuretake Starry colors. They are a metallic watercolor. Sorry for bonking the camera. They're a metallic watercolor and they're really freaking awesome. So you can see it on this page. They're like really opaque. They're nice and thick. I'm going to need another brush because that one's too bonky. They're really thick. You add some water, you make a nice thick paint. Do I want to use this one or do I want to use this one or that one? Or that one. I think that one is a little too bronzy. Let's try this one. And right now I'm just trying to figure out if I need to color this with markers first, or if I can just go straight with the gold. Okay, I can just go straight with the gold. I wanted to just see if it was thick enough, and it is. An undercolor might have looked nice actually, but that's all right. And then you can, I don't know if you can see from where you are, but I can instantly see like water-based. So I had to mix water in with this, yeah. Water-based like instantly makes the paper wiggly. Whereas the alcohol-based markers do not make the paper wiggly. So that's kind of the cool thing about them. Probably should have used an undercolor on this, but that's okay. It'll be fine. It's just part of experimenting. Now I know for next time. Hi, Tina. These are your favorite paints? I can see why. I used to have all of them. I gave one set to my little neighbor because she's cute. And she told me she likes doing art, but I don't think she ever used them. So maybe she will someday. To get myself another set. I think I gave her the super colorful ones. This is looking good though. Probably should have done an undercolor in gold or brown, but that's okay. It still looks pretty awesome. I can try it in the pentacle in the middle and see what difference that makes. Sloppy, but that's okay. I went out of the lines a lot at the bottom there. It's all right. Oh wait, I do have a paper towel. I was about to wipe that on my shirt. I can probably wipe some of that off. Blend it out a little bit. Okay, don't want to tweak on it too much. That actually looks really nice. Ta-da! But I am going to try something. I'm going to see how it looks. Oh, you heard about them in my coloring course, Tina? I did talk about those and use them in there, didn't I? They're so fun for accents like splatters and all that. I'm just adding like metallics. They're like the nicest metallic. Some pens are great too, like the Jelly Roll metallics are pretty good. But something about these Starries, they're really sparkly. Okay, so I'm going to do an undercolor on these because I think it'll just make it pop a little bit more, but we will find out. Maybe it doesn't. Same with the moons. I wanted to make those gold. And then I'll know for next time if this step is necessary or not. Ta-da! Oh, that was a fun page, Tina. All right. So adding the gold, and then we'll see how that looks compared to no undercoloring. And then we'll have some more information for next time. Pretty. Okay, and then these moons too. Without being too precise, let's get some gold on there. I think it helps with the undercoloring. Wow, so shiny. Oh my goodness. Let's see. I was gonna maybe do around the circle, but I don't think I need to do that. Let's just do some splattering because it's super fun to do so. So I get it pretty thick with the splatter. Then anything you don't want to splatter, you should probably cover. Like your entire house or your desk. But I'm not too picky about that kind of thing. So sometimes it looks good to get it everywhere too, like on the letters. I'm just tapping my brush. It's off camera so you can't see, but probably getting it on my camera right now, but it'll come off. It's watercolor, so it will come off. You probably wouldn't want to do this with like a permanent ink. Oops, sorry, bonked the camera. Making you seasick. Trying to get a little more splatter. It needs to be like, there we go. Hella splatters. Am I the only one that says hella anymore? It's just very ingrained in me from my California days. All right. So I think that's it. The only thing I might do, oh wow. So fabulous. So magical. The only thing I might do is like take a black pen and clean up some of the border edge where I went over it with the where I went over it with the metallic watercolor, but it's probably not necessary. Yeah, Heidi, I know what you mean. The lighter markers are a lot easier to work with, but I had a feeling that like my lighter ones were gonna all dry up and I would be left with the heavier colors. So I was like, I'm gonna get creative and find some ways to use the darker colors. The darker colors are definitely harder to use. The lighter ones are easier to begin with if you're new to alcohol markers. And you can see bleed through definitely happens with alcohol markers, but wow, that is stunning and powerful. So thank you for joining me today. I'll post some pictures in the group, and if you colored along, I'd love to see what you colored so you can email me or post a pic. All right, have a